this information and saying, hey, we got X amount of fans in this place, and X amount of fans in this place, and X amount of fans in this place. Let's go book shows. Let's go play.
This is Blair Durham with Black Wall Street Today, your media hub for all things Black entrepreneurship, politics, news, and events in Hampton Roads and beyond.
When I say black, y'all say Wall Street. Black
Wall Street.
Black Wall Street. When I say black, y'all say Wall Street. Black.
Welcome to this edition of Black Wall Street Today with Blair Durham. This is episode 30. I am so super excited. This is a very special edition. We are focused on the business of Black music today. And just by way of context, I do want to share that the very first Black-owned record label was actually founded in New York in 1921 by the name of Black Swan. It was the first Black-owned record company in the country. Its 1923 ad campaign wasn't just a marketing ploy. The label's founder saw Black Swan's recordings as an alternative to Black popular music. The vaudeville-era minstrel songs were made by Black people, sure, but not necessarily for them. Black Swan offered listeners a choice between the stereotypes and buffoonery of race records and high-quality music meant to entertain and uplift. In other words, Black Swan was interjecting a political and cultural stance into popular entertainment. I am super excited to announce today's special guest. First up is Mr. Brandon Name Brand Bass. Brandon was born in Fayetteville, North Carolina, and raised in Richmond, Virginia. He is a music producer and has been creating music since the age of 13. Getting his start making beats for his brother, Michael Millions, Name Brand has become one of RVA's most well-known and sought-after producers. He describes his sound as an eclectic fusion of funk, old school hip hop, and raw musical instrumentation. With influences such as Dr. Dre, Pharrell, Kanye West, Nortz, and Timberland, Name Brand brings a fresh and innovative approach to the art of music production. And also joining Name Brand is Michael Millions. Michael Bass, better known as his stage name Michael Millions, is an American rapper and songwriter from Richmond, Virginia. He's the co-founder of Purple Republic Music Group. Purple Republic is a Richmond, Virginia-based audio production company that specializes in audio recording, mixing, mastering, and songwriting. Gentlemen, welcome.
Hey, thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us.
We invite you to join us as we have this conversation. We're going to be talking about everything from getting your music copywritten to really engaging in negotiations, touring, just how it is that you're able to protect what's yours. So I'm excited because y'all have toughed this thing out. Y'all have survived.
Yeah.
That's the conversation I want to have. Can you give us just some context for your music story?
Like you said in the introduction, I'm from Richmond, Virginia, born in Fayetteville, North Carolina, but we lived in Richmond the longest. And Richmond is just I don't want to just say beautiful place, but it's like an artsy place. And if you're from there, you know the texture, you know the vibe of the city. But as far as music is concerned, it's not. We're not the 757. We're not the beach. We don't have a beach. We don't have a major sports team. We don't have a lot of major attractions that brought people down this way. So Richmond, I think, always got looked over. As far as music, as far as just a lot of different things. So we're kind of like the for lack of a better phrase, products of our environment musically. We're the product of artists that may have been under the radar, but are really good and represent the city and do a lot for the city and mold its culture. So, Brandon, do you have something to add to that?
I mean, I think just in regards to we kind of started our audio firm, that's what I like to call it, Purple Republic, after we were involved with the music situation. We were signed to a label called Downland Entertainment, and that entity kind of folded. So we ended up going out and starting our own engineering firm, and we started, recording our own music. Mike being our very first artist that, we kind of really, started pushing. But wow. I just think at the end of the day, it really was something that we had to take on ourselves because, you know, in Richmond, there aren't that many spots, you know, at least when we were coming up, that was really, I guess, giving us the quality music that we wanted and that we needed. So we really started, and shout out to Hampton, because, I mean, we started it here in Hampton, you know.
Oh,
so
really?
I lived right off of Magruder, and in my apartment, we started Purple Republic. So it would be my bathroom, and we would throw up these sheets to kind of dampen the sound and, you know, create the soundproof booth. And I had bought, you know, the Mac and all that. So Mike would come down on the weekends, and we would, you know, pretty much record all our music. And so it all started, you know, here in Hampton, you know,
Wow.
in Hampton, Virginia. So while I'm on, let me just say this real quick.
Yeah, please.
I'm from, well, I went to Norfolk State University, and I'm glad to be here at HU, but you know what I'm saying, I got to give out a nice behold the green and gold, because I feel like we done infiltrated the system just now.
You got to get us in trouble.
Over here,
My goodness.
Being here in Hampton, so I had to do it one time for the Spartans.
Oh, wow. It's all love. It's all love. Man, what an incredible story, though, just to hear that, you know, you kind of started under somebody else's banner and for various reasons needed to figure out how to start your own.
Yeah.
What is that process like? Because I know a lot of listeners know people that need to figure this same thing out. How do you create an audio firm? How do you do this?
I mean, you definitely need to have the passion for it. It starts there.
Sure.
You need to have a passion. You need to know what it is, what you want to deliver. With us, I knew what I wanted to deliver as an artist. And through that journey, we were able to open doors to sound where people not only were appreciating our music, but they were appreciating the quality and the level and the time we were putting into making the sound, making our sound as good as it did, as good as it does. And it just became, I mean, I'm passionate about it. I know Brand's passionate about it. So it only made sense for us to like push that forward. So we began working with all of our closest friends, the Radio B's, the Nicholas F's, the Easy Leos, the Cole Hicks, and it's a slew of artists, the Joey Gallows. There's so many local Richmond artists that we started working with first. And then that branched off, and even to today, I work with so many different artists around the country now, just because they're seeking a particular sound, or they're seeking a particular I guess they're looking for care. But how did we get there? It just, you know, you got to follow your path. You know, you got to follow that path. How to tell someone to do something
I'm going to ask
I don't know.
More direct question.
Yeah,
but before I do that, if you just tuned in, this is Blair Durham with Black Wall Street Today. We are sitting with Name Brand and Michael Millions. Michael is a recording artist. Name Brand is a producer. They are with the Purple Republic music group that they actually founded. And we're having a conversation about the business of music. I got to ask this. So, nuts and bolts, right? You're starting an audio firm. Is that, what kind of entity is that? Is that an LLC? Is that how are you doing business from a business standpoint?
I think all businesses, from when, you know, everybody's going to start out, we're coming into it as a limited liability.
Sure.
But for what we are,
people need to know this.
That's just more so from the business side of the house. You know, when you're doing numbers and handling out the legal stuff, you know, you want to make sure you're not like taking on more of a responsibility than you can handle. But
what kind of team is necessary from that vantage point? So did you have to immediately seek legal support, or what, you know, what other, I know you had your friendships, which, you know, ultimately in terms of creating the music.
Well, being in the music business, it's always good to have a lawyer. I do have a lawyer that watches over pretty much my stuff and has been watching over my stuff for a while. And that's pretty much all you need, is a good lawyer in the music industry. I mean, as far as just, you need somebody to be able to read the contracts if they're presented to you. You need somebody that understands how your publishing works, how to negotiate those terms on your splits and things like that when records are pushed out or produced. What type of splits are, it gets really deep. I'm not sure if we could get that deep into it here, but as far as the team is concerned, it's just Brandon and I. We do the hands-on work. We take our time, use our ears and our skills and our expertise, and that's really what it is. It's not something I think that people could just jump into. I write music. I help engineer music and master music, but I've never made a track. I've tried, but it's not something that's in me. And it's
from
the
a
same
production
thing.
standpoint.
Yes, but from it's the same thing. Like sitting down to engineer a record from start to finish, whether you're recording. From the tracking of the vocals to the mixing of the vocals, finishing the record. This is a skill. These are tools that you're using, and you have to understand the science of sound to do that. So it does take a particular passion to get yourself to that space.
Let me interject this as well, just to give some context for folks that may be listening and may not be familiar with the Michael Million sound.
Yeah.
How many albums have you guys produced?
Well, personally, in my catalog that are available right now, there are 8 projects out right now. My latest is called Hard to Be King, and that's probably the most notable one, but I mean, it's the latest one out. To date, I think as a company, we're in the 60s as far as albums.
I almost want to say we're probably a little bit more than that. I mean, because like I said, we started out here in Hampton, and that was a time where, people would come every weekend to record their projects and record their sessions. So I know between the time that we were here in Hampton and the time where I went back to Richmond, I know I probably worked on at least 20 different, projects or 20 different releases. And I have my own releases myself as far as instrumental albums that I put out. I recently just put out an album called Grace, and then another one prior to this one called Chatham Grove. But, I think I might have 6, projects that I might have out there right now. So just between me and Mike, we have at least 13, 14 albums between the two of us. And then, like I said, that doesn't even count, the people, just the different artists that we've worked with over the years. So I guess to kind of piggyback off what you were saying, just as far as, it takes a lot of passion to be in this field or into this space, because you really have to do a lot of searching for information on your own. Of course, we all know about YouTube.
And that's sort of the purpose of this platform, right?
Right.
Because nobody really knows which information is reputable.
Right.
Getting it from the two of you with 15 plus years of experience.
Right. I mean, but like I said, I think a lot of it was trial and error, from, especially in the early days, it's a lot of trial and error. But as we've kind of gone through, the process, of course, YouTube University is great. You can find a lot of great tutorials out there that can help you out.
Sure.
But at the same time, it's just really being passionate about it. And it's not, I think a lot of people oftentimes get into this space for the money. You know what I mean? They're like, oh, let's just put out some songs or let's, record this person and just take their money. But you have to really work with people who genuinely care about how you sound. And I think being that me and Mike kind of started off from a space of just working on his music, and the main purpose was to create the best sound for him. And then that just kind of spread out to working with other artists. So we kind of always started from a foundation of just making sure that we wanted to make sure our music sounded good, And then as we kind of, like I said, work with different artists, it kind of, because you work with different artists. Some artists may have like a heavy bass voice. Some artists may have a high pitched voice. So you have to be able to know how to mix, and you have to be able to know how to master for that type of, vocal, and there's different genres of hip hop. Of course there's, your regular boom bap, type hip hop that we're all familiar with. And then you got the trap sound that, is really popular nowadays. So we really have to kind of be able to mix and master in accordance to what that particular artist wants. So it's not just like a one size fits all type of thing when you sitting down and you're mastering somebody's project or you're mixing somebody's project. You have to be in tune with what they want, and then you have to know how to deliver that. And that only comes from really working with a whole bunch of... Right. Yeah. So, and that's the thing about it. I think between Mike and I, we just have a lot of experience of working with, different artists, different sounds, and, we're able to kind of, pull it all together for people. So.
Cool. We got about 4 minutes till our first break. If you've just tuned in, this is Blair Durham with Black Wall Street Today, talking with Michael Millions and Name Brand about the business of black music. Okay. Really digging in. What is this thing made of? I mean, I think we turn on our radio, we hear this finished project. We don't know.
I think a lot of the business of black music. I know we probably spoke a lot on trying to give you a brief story, but here's the business of black music. Black music is not selling as it used to sell. That's the business of black music. It's evolving. It's evolving into more of us owning our own records. It's evolving into more of us owning and creating more platforms for ourselves to have our music exposed to our natural fan bases, where we could serve them as a customer of our music, whether it's they're buying our physical CDs, whether it's CDs, cassettes, or vinyls, or buying our merchandise, or, we really studying the analytics behind where our music is selling. A lot of these platforms like Spotify, iTunes, even SoundCloud, if you pay for the services, open up the door to allow you to see your engagements and allow you to see where your music is actually being played. And these plays, you may see X amount of thousand people, X amount of thousand streams, but you really have to bust it down into these are numbers. And that's what artists, not just black artists, but artists in general, we're studying these days. Now, as black artists, where these record labels have really, really not given us the right opportunities, we're now, through certain platforms, able to take some of the power back and have better conversations when we sit down at these tables. We are now owning our masters. Me and Brandon have always owned the masters to our music, but a lot of artists are now that were recently signed to labels. They do have that now. But so we're studying algorithm.
2 minutes.
Yeah,
Can you
2 minutes.
Tell us, what does it mean to own your master?
All right, so
give us an example.
So here, this is real quick in 2 minutes. This is how it goes. I'm the artist. I write the song. My brother makes the beat. The record label, say we're signed to a record label. The record label pays for that. We own that piece of it. Once the engineer mixes it down and sounding really good, they send it off to a mastering engineer. Once the mastering engineer gets it sounding really good, that part of it, that part of the process, that finished record is all the record label really owns. That's what they want to own, because that's the record that actually is sent out into the world. That's the one that's on the radio. That's the one on the TV. That's the one on the CD. That's the portion of the album that record labels own. They physically own that piece. So you could do all the writing, all the other steps, but the final piece of it is the master. And these are what artists are buying back from the labels, because this is the final product. And they can say and do whatever they want with these masters, including determining how much they pay you for them. So
and maybe the distribution as well.
Everything. I mean, they own the final product. When you sign it over, they own it.
Wow.
Even if you write it, they can say, thanks for writing this. We are gonna only pay you 15% of this whole thing, and owning masters now is probably I think it's, I think it's trending, but it's a good trend for artists to own their music 100%.
Well, if there were a downside to it, what would that be?
There's no downside. The only downside, if you're looking at it from a record label perspective, is you can't have that conversation if you don't know what you're talking about. And they might not sign you because you want your masters and you want all of your publishing, so it's still a business. It's a record business. They want money off of the artist. But being able to stand on your own tune as an independent and say, hey, this is mine.
That's good.
Yeah.
Man, this is fascinating. I'm getting a lot out of it. Hope
Sorry,
you guys are.
I had to run that through that.
No, this is good. Special edition of #Add This to the List, we are featuring the Carolina, Virginia Minority Supplier Development Council and its president and CEO, Ms. Dominique Simpson Milton. She obviously leads this company, and prior to assuming this role in June of 2018, Milton served as the Director of Corporate Services for the CVMS DC, overseeing an affiliate office of the council in Charleston, South Carolina. Along with her experience as a business owner, Milton also brings more than 35 years of corporate experience to the council. Welcome, Dominique. How are you?
Thank you so much for having us here, Blair.
Thank you so much. We also have with us Ms. Kathy Williams, who is the Business Diversity and Government Administration Manager for Ferguson. Welcome, Ms. Kathy.
Thank you, Blair, for having us.
She's trying to avoid the mic, but we're not going to let that happen. So a lot of us have not heard of the council. Talk to us about what the council does and what you guys have coming up.
So, two things. A lot of people, as you said, have not heard of the council, and we are a national advocacy group for minority business owners. NMSDC is our national partner, and there are 23 different councils throughout the United States. I just happen to be the president of the Carolinas, Virginia Minority Supplier Development Council.
Okay.
And so our sole purpose, Blair, is...
Say the name of the national entity again.
National Minority Supplier Development Council,
Got it.
NMSDC.
Okay.
And so our sole purpose is basically to create wealth, Blair. We take minority business owners and we help develop them and connect them with supply chain opportunities with our major corporations. Nationwide, we have over 13,000 members. Most of your major corporations are our corporate partners, and then minority business owners sign up to be members and get certified that they truly are minority business owners, and then we help connect them with those opportunities.
Fantastic.
Yes.
Which explains why you are obviously working with Ferguson.
Exactly.
Okay.
Ferguson is one of our corporate partners, and they are actually the title sponsor of our event that we have coming up here in August in Virginia, which is why I'm glad you've invited us here today.
Thank you so much. Tell us about it.
Yeah, August 5th and 6th, we're going to have our largest event. It's called our Business Opportunity Conference, and that is a conference where we bring together speakers, we bring together trainers for workshops, we have matchmaking opportunities for our members where they can kind of do speed dating. You sit down and in one room, all the people that you want to do business with are there. You can do this on your own, but you have to make onesie-twosie appointments, right? So we bring everybody together in one room so that you can meet with the Fergusons and the Altrias and the Capital Ones of the world in that setting. So we are expecting about 350 to 400 people to join us. Again, August 5th and 6th, Ferguson is our title sponsor along with the Virginia Department of Economic Development.
Okay, and where's this event going to be held?
It's going to be held at Virginia Beach. The first day, we're going to have a golf tournament at the Princess Anne Golf Course, which is a private course. So it's going to be a really nice event. Then we kick off with an award ceremony where we recognize all of our corporate partners and MBEs who had outstanding accomplishments in the year. So we'll have that Monday evening, and we have a live auction. And we just hired an auctioneer, African-American auctioneer out of this area who's going to lead the auction. And that's a scholarship program so that we can provide scholarships for our MBEs to get educational development. And then the next day we have some workshops, and I'm really excited to announce that our national president, Adrienne Trimble, will be joining us for this conference. Wonderful. And she'll be our keynote speaker for the luncheon.
Okay. So we got a luncheon going on. So I got Monday. Is it Monday, Tuesday?
It's Monday, Tuesday, August 5th and 6th.
Monday, the golf tournament. Right? It's kind of the lead-in.
Exactly.
And then that evening, you're doing the awards piece with the auction.
Awards piece with the auction, exactly.
And then Tuesday is training.
Development, speakers. We're going to have a reverse trade show. So our MBEs, MBE stands for Minority Business Enterprise.
Yes.
Our MBEs will be showcasing their products and services, And then they're going to go into a matchmaking session where they'll have preset appointments to meet with those companies that they want to do business with.
Wow. And your national president is coming in.
Yes. And she
Okay,
just joined us
all
this year.
Down so I can share this with everyone I know.
Please do. She just joined us this year. She came from Toyota.
Okay.
She's been with Toyota for years and years. And so we are excited as a council to have her leadership to be able to improve and advance the work that we do. Because, a lot, like as you said in the beginning, a lot of people don't know what we have to offer. And if you're a business owner and you're struggling to make it, you can't do all this on your own. There are companies out there that are available to help you, develop you, connect you, and advocate for you. And folks need to understand how to sign up for that. For membership, an MBE might pay us, let's just say $400 to become a member of our organization. Well, we turn around and offer that MBE a scholarship in the value of about $5,000 to attend University of Richmond, Tuck, to help them really pull their business plan apart and redevelop and strategize on where they need to go. That's invaluable investment in that MBE.
Let me ask you this, because I know this question is going to come up. What types of industries typically benefit the most from your membership?
So I'm glad you asked the question. It really depends on where the MBE is. Kathy, we just had a conversation earlier today, and she needs construction folks. She needs people who, can do concrete, can do steel. We need construction people. You need people who understand how to navigate in the federal space. Okay. You need IT people. I mean, it spans the whole entire spectrum. So I don't want anybody to be discouraged about, I just offer paper or I offer cleaning supplies. You can get a cleaning project to clean all of Hampton University, right? You can get a cleaning project to clean all of Capital One, or you can provide all the paper products to a particular company. We have one MBE who provides all the paper products to Belks. It's like a $5 million contract. Okay. Huge. And we have another MBE. I like to tell this story. We had this MBE, and he was a smaller business, and he went out on the golf course for one of our events, and he was talking to Altria, and he didn't think he'd get anything out of it because Altria is a cigarette manufacturing company, and he produces small plastic parts. So he was telling the gentleman what he does, and the guy says, well, I want to take a look at your company. Within 2 weeks, he had an order for 30,000 plastic parts to go into one of their machines. Wow. Now, he's a tier 1 supplier to BMW, providing parts for them. So you never know where you can end up if you are very intentional about making those connections and following up and making sure that you present your company from a valuable perspective. Because Kathy here, when you call her up, she doesn't want to necessarily hear that you're an MBE. She wants to hear what value you bring to the table. And once you can bring that value and meet her supplier needs, then you can grow within her company.
Love it. As usual, taking copious notes. Super excited. So does the local council have a chapter that meets here regularly?
Excellent question. Yes, we do. So we have ring meetings. It's called a Regional Industry Needs Group. Okay. And those meetings are held every other month. Sometimes they're held over the phone. Sometimes they're held face-to-face. But, if you contact us through cvmsdc.org, we can put you in contact with Kathy. And Kathy is on the leadership team for this ring. And you can attend those meetings. We also hold...
Those are membership meetings, or are those open to the general public?
They are open. So we have... once a month, we'll have a pre and a post session, and that pre-session introduces potential new customers to our programs and services, and they can come to those meetings, learn about the council, and then once they learn about the council and they start to become members, they can join the ring meeting, or they can come to the ring meeting just as informational to find out, is this something that I want to do? And so we can allow them that information.
Great. I'm very excited about the conference. Can we also get tickets at cvmsdc.org?
You absolutely can. You can register there. We are looking for volunteers to help us out. And if you volunteer, you can come for free.
Still seeking volunteers. Mm-hmm. Anything else? Are you still looking for, sounds like you've got your sponsorship covered. Are you still looking for MBs that might want to vend during the reverse trade show?
So we don't have any vendors there. So our folks in the reverse trade show are already our members.
They're members.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But we're always looking for sponsors to help us in this endeavor.
Okay. So still seeking sponsorships. What else do you want to tell us about it?
So, I like to frame it up because some people still don't get it. They don't really understand what we do.
Oh my goodness.
Gosh. So I like to say, that
maybe break down how it is that a company like Ferguson has a supplier diversity sort of department, and then how it
Kathy, you want to answer that?
Yeah.
So the value for us, because we get that question all the time, why are we a part of the council? And so as a organization that's global, our headquarters are here in Hampton Roads, we are a department of 2, but we're small and mighty. But we also align ourselves with our procurement department, so it's a much bigger department. But when we talk about the value proposition, because we talk about that all the time, with the council, there's a stringent certification process where they vet the vendors. So those vendors, when they approach Ferguson to entertain an opportunity, we feel confident that we know that we're getting quality suppliers. So when you talk about, and I keep coming back to the value proposition in this and why we're part of it, we've been with them for about 13 plus years with the council. It goes back to the quality of the vendors. We know that they have the opportunity to grow and scale. Not everyone's going to get an opportunity, and we talk about contracts, so we're very transparent and upfront, but we know what type of quality of suppliers that we're getting. So
great. That's awesome. You want to wrap up for us?
Yeah, and there are people like this, like Kathy, in every corporation. You have somebody in the supply chain that's looking to improve the supply chain options that exist. But I do want to close with this because, as I said earlier, some people just don't get it. So, we've all heard that old adage, give a man a fish and he eats for a day. Teach a man a fish and he eats for a lifetime. We'd like to take it further than that, Blair. We want to teach people to fish, but we also want them to develop fisheries, develop fleets of fish, okay? Develop fishing processing plants, okay? And be able to provide that fish then to the grocery chains and get those contracts. So that's what we're talking about. Taking it larger than just taking care of yourself, building wealth for your family. We're building wealth for communities.
Because we miss that piece.
We're missing that.
We don't know how to scale. We know how to take the money that we have.
Thank you.
Start something small and do it on the side. But when it comes time to really build something significant, we get stuck there. We don't know how to access capital. We don't know what the supply diversity pieces look like. So I want to thank you both for your time today. This is phenomenal. We're all getting registered. CVMSDC.org.
That is correct.
For tickets to the August 5th and 6th Business Opportunity Conference, right?
There you go.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you so much. We look forward to seeing you back.
All right.
Soon.
Thank you.
Thank you. A couple of other quick announcements here. We do have the Women's Business Symposium happening on Saturday, May the 4th. We're actually going to be giving away tickets to that event. If you haven't heard about it, it is being hosted by Tawana Golson, and it features Dr. Lynn Richardson as well as MC Light. It is a full day of training. I talked to the host just this morning, and wow, unbelievable panel sessions for emerging business owners, existing business owners, to be able to glean what's necessary to move their businesses forward. So I know that one panel features sort of your climb team, right? So everybody that you need in terms of accounting, in terms of legal, in terms of insurance. Again, I highly encourage registration. It is womensbusinesssymposium.net. I know that there is an app for the symposium as well. Again, it's being hosted by the business magnate mogul, Ms. Tawana Golson, and it features Dr. Lynn Richardson as well as MC Light. That's happening right here in the Hampton Roads area if you're tuning in from our home base. It's going to be Saturday, May the 4th from 9 to 5 p.m. at the main hotel. By next week, I should be in position to give away a few tickets, so make sure you stay tuned in. Welcome back, name brand, Mike Millions. Yes.
We're back.
Yes. Man, you guys dropped some jewels. I'm still thinking about what it means to own my own masters.
Oh, yeah.
And why that's such a critical piece. Did you want to chime in there, Brandon?
I think at the end of the day,
because a lot of us think something that Michael was alluding to earlier, we might miss the deal, right? If we're not in position to be taken advantage of.
Right.
But that doesn't have to necessarily be the case, right?
Right. So, I mean, typically nowadays people sign to major label deals because for the distribution aspects of it. They also sign to major label deals because they know that they'll get that push behind their music. But like Michael was saying earlier, you know, when you have, you know, applications like SoundCloud, you have applications like Apple Music and DistroKid and what's the TuneCore, all these different other sites that you can get your music up on, and you can pretty much handle the distribution yourself. Like I said, it's a lot more legwork that comes in when you're being an independent artist out here. So you know, it's a little bit difficult, but a lot of people tend to sign with major labels, so therefore they can have a company, a big name behind them. But what you end up losing, and you know, I'm sure we all familiar with Nipsey Hussle and his passing, but what was so critical and amazing about what he did was that he created partnerships instead of you know, completely giving up his masters to a major label deal. So what they would do was pretty much help him distribute his music, but he still owned 100% of his masters. So that's what I think nowadays what artists are doing, are creating their own bases, creating and engaging with their own fans. Mm-hmm. And through engaging with their own fans, you know, they're able to leverage that when meeting with these, you know, major labels. So therefore, they can, you know, ultimately be able to maintain their ownership of their music, but get that push, you know, from these major labels as far as the distribution aspect of it.
I feel like, go ahead.
No. I mean, that's kind of the wrap up. But yeah,
I hear you saying that the internet of things.
Yeah, the internet changed the game completely.
Yeah, it's kind of, in a lot of ways, gotten rid of the need for that middleman.
Right.
So
and I think ultimately that's what these major labels are kind of scrambling to do, is how can we continue to be needed within this industry. And, you know, so, you know, of course they had things like 360 deals where they were pretty much taking all the, you know, taking a certain percentage of anything the rapper did. If they had merch, they would take a percentage of that. If they had the album, they would take a percentage of that. Touring, they'll take a percentage of that. So that was like the 360 deal, and now people are kind of getting hip to it, and they're like, "Yo, you know what? Why are we gonna do this? Hey, I'm gonna do my own tour. I'm gonna
and I would definitely want to get into some of that.
I'm gonna do my own tour. I'm gonna sell my own merch. I'm gonna distribute my own music. And when you work with these distribution companies that they have, like TuneCore or DistroKid, like through DistroKid, you can do your splits. So like when me and Mike, we do our music together, you know, 50% of the record is his, 50% of the record is mine. So you can get down into that detail as far as,
using
you know,
an app, it sounds like.
Well, it's a website. You create, you know, and you pay like, I don't know, like maybe $20-$30
Monthly
for the,
fees.
no, it's for the year. It's for the year, and you can have unlimited, you know, projects released. And like I said, you kind of control that. And through that, they also provide you with the analytics. So you can sit there and say, I wonder how well am I doing on this particular platform, Apple Music? How well am I doing on Spotify? How well am I doing on, you know, whatever, you know, streaming service, you know, you need. So therefore, you can really pinpoint exactly who your market is, who you're targeting, who is listening to you. And then you can also, from that information, take that data and be able to figure out how you're going to move in the future. Like, so I think a lot of what's happening now is that a lot of the control is getting back into the artist's hands, which is a good thing. But at the same time, the legwork that is associated with that is something that a lot of people don't, you know, account for. And they, you know, you can't really be lazy when it comes to, you know, pushing your own music out here. You have to really be on top of it, and you have to not only just be, you know, love the music and the creating of the music side, because, you know, that's what you're selling, but you also have to kind of find some, you know, common ground or some type of way to really focus in on the business side of it, because, you know, a lot of artists nowadays, they focus on the music, and then they kind of forget about the business. And then that's how you end up with people, basically signing over their masters and not even realizing it because, they're not really business savvy and they don't understand that. And
that's a problem in general for the community. We're just talking about it with the two ladies.
Right.
The business savvy isn't there. I actually, I got a crash course in just how powerful media platforms are when we started this one, right? I had somebody pretty much approach me and say, yo, I'll manage everything, and we're going to pay you X percentage. It's a really tiny number. I'm like, well, nah.
Right.
I'm not ready for that deal yet. Let me figure out how I can engage with my audience. Let me see, what it's going to be. And it was exactly what you described, a 360. Because they knew as a result of doing this, I would be getting speaking engagements. They were right, know. But at the same time, it's like, yeah, let me,
But just like you could do it on your own. You can take 100%. You know what I mean? So, but at the end of the day, I'm not going to sit here and be like, yo, don't ever, like I said, using Nipsey as an example, like he understood
partnerships.
Form a partnership. It doesn't have to be, like you're completely signing your soul over to a label. You could really, like I said, be business savvy enough to understand the analytics of how well your music is performing in the world. So understand that. So therefore you could take that to the table and leverage that. I think that's really where it's at. What the goal should be for up and coming artists today, artists in general. You should be trying to focus on making sure you maintain control of your creative work and don't relinquish that control for small change because over the course of time, that's money that's going to continue to come in, So,
got you.
I
love that. So, if you just tuned in, Blair Durham with Black Wall Street today, talking about the business of music, the business of Black music in particular. Everything we talk about pertains to us, right? We're with Name Brand and Michael Millions, two Richmond artists who have successfully navigated this piece about independence, right? In the music industry and maintaining ownership. I definitely want to get into talking a little bit more about these streaming platforms and touring. And then Brandon, I want you to talk about, because I love the way you engage with your audience. You got some creative things that you're doing that get the word out about, your production ability, right? So I want to talk about both of those. You want to start first though, Michael, with
sure.
Yeah, like how, when I first saw you on Apple Music, I'm like, wow, let's figure something out. How do you do that? Like, what is that process?
Back in 2010, when my project Ashes and Samples went up, that was a deal actually that came through with or an agreement with Apple. At the time, TuneCore wasn't. TuneCore is also a distribution platform for artists, but at the time, it wasn't open to artists to just upload their music and have it distributed for money. You had to ask and they had to approve you. And then once you were approved, they sent you to TuneCore to manage your account there. So yeah, at that time, streaming wasn't even buying digital music, that was like at the beginning of like, oh, we're going to start buying music again. Because there was a time frame where no one was buying
definitely
physical
a lull,
music.
right?
Yeah,
everybody
so
was just down.
We were just trying to figure it all out and like, oh, wow, you can buy digital music at the time. Apple was hot. So just to have, Apple's always going to be hot, but the just having that platform, being able to access that, exposed me to a lot of different people in different ways. They just thought that piece of it was cool. Now everyone can do it, but that's...
So they've gotten rid of that middleman, is what you're saying.
No, it's even more middlemen now.
Oh,
you know what I mean? But they're
really?
doing more of the service. It's open to the public where you have, like I said, TuneCore, DistroKid, and there's a bunch of other services that help artists distribute their music, so we get 100% of our royalties. But before it was not this. It wasn't a pathway to that. You had to actually work with those platforms to get there. Now it's open, but this is how we get those numbers, those streaming analytics, where we know where the music's being played, so we know where to go play.
So that's how you figure out. That's the connection.
That's
with
the connection with
piece.
touring.
Go ahead right into that. We got a minute, but
all right,
give us that.
Yeah,
we're going to have a break. We're going to come back and we're going to have like 4 more minutes.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So I think with artists, independent artists of today, we're studying where we're playing. If we know we got X amount of fans in New York, well, we gonna book a venue and we're gonna play that show. You know, say you got 1,000 fans in New York, go book a venue for like 300 cap, you know, and fill it up. Take some photos. It looks cool, you know.
Wow.
If you got 1,000 fans in Atlanta, go book a room for 400 people. You know, put 400 people in there. And I say this, you know, to put this in scale. There's certain artists that tour all the time. And imagine this. Most hip hop venues are only holding between 1,000. I mean, we'll say between 500 and 1,000 people. If you have I'm sorry, I think she has to cut the break. We'll get back into it.
Yes. We'll come back with how to fill a room based on your analytics from your streaming platforms. This is dope. If there was ever a time I was disappointed, it is right now. We got like 4 minutes with Mike Millions and Name Brand. Had a fascinating conversation over the break about what it means to know who your audience is. Give us a second.
And we were, you know, trying to tie that back into touring and understanding the business side of things. Mainly, you know, and this is for any artist out there that's listening right now, the number one thing you need to know is to learn where your people are, where people are listening to your music. If you realize that you have 500 fans in the city of Atlanta, book yourself a venue that holds maybe 200 people and fill it up, you know. And with the math on that, you'll have to play Atlanta twice to, you know, see all of your fans. So that's what a lot of artists are doing now. We're compiling this information and saying, hey, we got X amount of fans in this place, and X amount of fans in this place, and X amount of fans in this place. Let's go book shows. Let's go play. Let's go see our fans. Let's go do business.
And that starts with leveraging these platforms.
Yeah, the platforms where you're actually selling your music.
Because you can get the analytics that tell you where people are downloading from.
Right. You can tell them where they're listening, how much they're listening, who they are, like how old they are, where they are, what, you know, and it gets even deeper. I'm sure these algorithms even go a step deeper into probably identifying exactly who these people are and reaching out to them.
And then from there, like you mentioned, targeted ads on Facebook that goes right to those folks.
Yeah. So like it's like a restaurant.
So you can make money in music as an independent.
Yes, it is possible. The one thing I think we haven't just, you know, spoke on is just, you know, make sure your music's good.
Make sure your music's good first. We got 1 minute, and I want Brandon to close on. Talk about what you do on Saturdays.
Yeah.
How you engage these artists with your beats.
Yeah. So every Saturday morning, follow me, Name Brand _music. But every Saturday morning, I post a video of me working on a beat that I made that Saturday morning. And I just think it's one of those type of things that I like to do in order to kind of engage with my followers, you know, let them know that I'm still out here, you know, working. And then it also works for me in the sense of when people want to, you know, purchase a beat from me, all they have to do is kind of go through my Saturday mornings just to see if I have their style, you know, of music that they may want. And then they kind of can go through there. And I, you know,
you do contests too.
Yeah, I do contests, you know, with artists, as far as, you know, I might do, what do I call it? The lyrical fitness test.
Which is dope.
I do my Saturday morning beat, and that particular beat will be the beat that I'll use for the lyrical fitness test. And then I'll just have artists who, you know, want to take on a challenge and you know, they write their verse, they post it on their page, I repost it on mine. And, you know, it's just a good way to kind of bring the community together, the hip hop community.
So organic, so creative.
Yeah, creative. It's just a way, you know, like I said, to touch and rap, you know, connect with people, connect with my people. You know, that's how.
This is beautiful. So, yeah, I'm seeing a part 2 soon.
Yes, for sure.
Later in the second quarter, early in the third quarter. I hope you guys will come back and share more of these jewels. This is great.
Definitely.
I'm so excited for y'all. Stay with us online at Black Wall Street Today on Facebook and Black Wall Street Today on Instagram. And then follow us on Twitter as well at BWS Today. We look forward to talking again next week. Have a wonderful week. I have said and I will continue to say that the most important priority for the Black community is the Black community, not a particular political party.
Phenomenal.